Bridget Lake, president of the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce, and we are here. Welcome to our October monthly luncheon from the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber. It is Pathway to Success, sponsored by the Foundation for Seminole County Public Schools. First, I would like to recognize our biggest supporters, our trustees. A Budgetary Service, Advent Health, Citizens Bank of Florida, City of Oviedo, City of Winter Springs, Duke Energy, Fairwinds Credit Union, Modern Plumbing, Orlando Health, Oviedo City Church, Oviedo Mall, Oviedo Medical Center, and Palm Tree Tech Center. And I would also like to recognize our partners in progress. We have 419 Metal and Auto Recycling and Platinum Signs and Design. And our 2020 media partners, we have Falconics, Gizmo Productions, L Media, Look Local Magazine, Orlando Business Journal, Oviedo TV, Dakota Films, and Oviedo Winter Springs Life Magazine. And our friends of the Chamber. We have Cavallari Gourmet, Collins Dental, District Eat and Play, Edwards Financial Services, Fast Signs of Orlando, Insight Credit Union, ITI Engineering, Gene Arthur Associates, James Evans, the Real Estate Kelp, Kilgore, Perlman, Samani, Dennis and Squires, Legends of Winter Springs, Miller's Ale House Oviedo, Mid-Florida Cancer Centers, Orlando Health Physician Associates, Oviedo YMCA, Partika Group at NAI RealVest, Pedigo Oviedo, Rock and Brews Oviedo, Seminole County Property Appraiser David Johnson, Seminole State College, Tuscaloosa Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, University of Florida, and ViStar Credit Union. Thank you all for your support. We truly appreciate that. And now let me go into a few chamber announcements. Our chamber won the Florida Association of Chamber Professionals Online Communications Award in Public Relations Programs for our 2020 Eastside Regional Hobnob that we transitioned to a virtual hobnob this year. ESRHobnob.com has great interviews and Q&A from local candidates, so be sure to check it out before the election. We have the Oviedo Business Alliance and the Winter Springs Business Alliance are back in person with safety protocols in place, a great way to build relationships and your business. And new, the Chamber Champion Challenge, a fun virtual event that gets your business name out in the community as businesses go head to head in the bracket challenge. It's only $5 to register, and you can contact events@oviedowintersprings.org or go to our Facebook page. The question now is, who will take the title home? And we have our 33rd annual golf tournament presented by Oviedo City Church on November 20th at Twin Rivers Golf. And that is a 7:30 a.m. registration, 8:30 shotgun. Make sure that you register your team, donate a raffle prize, or sponsor for as little as $100. You can find that information on our OWS Golf Facebook page. And remember, our golf tournament supports the Oviedo City Church Scholarship Fund for furthering education for Seminole County Public School students. And while we're talking about Seminole County Public Schools, help us provide technology for kids in need by becoming a donor. Seminole County Public Schools is looking for 500 Chromebooks and 300 hotspots for kids to do homework and continue learning. The flyer with that information will be sent to all registered participants after today's meeting. And now, let us give a huge thank you and welcome to our sponsor today, the Foundation for Seminole County Public Schools. Today's sponsor remarks will be presented by the Executive Director, Jean Van Smith.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's good to be here today. I'm happy to sponsor this luncheon. I love being a part of the Chamber because our mission at the Foundation is to support education in Seminole County Public Schools by raising and distributing funds, recognizing our outstanding teachers and support staff, and fostering involvement in our schools by businesses and the community. The Chamber directly ties in with our mission to involve businesses in our schools. We know a big reason that families and businesses move here is because of our A-rated premier national school district. And the Foundation is here to support schools when normal funds don't cover everything. I wanted to talk for a couple minutes today about our career technical education programs because I think that ties in nicely with what the Chamber does. And I was just going to highlight two that have an impact here in the Oviedo Winter Springs area. So the first one I'm going to talk about, you see some pictures on the screen. We were able to provide funding for a renewable energy pipeline at Keith Elementary, Indian Trails Middle, and Winter Springs High School, right here in the Winter Springs area. We provided over $30,000 in partnership with Duke Energy to refresh the program and impact over 500 students. One really cool aspect of that program is the STEM Club at Indian Trails Middle School. Middle school students wake up early, get to school before school starts to participate in the club, and they actually teach STEM lessons to their neighboring students at Keith Elementary. If you know of that area, they're actually right next to each other. So the Keith Elementary students actually come over once a week and are taught by the Indian Trails Middle School students. So not only are the middle and elementary school students learning about STEM and renewable energy, but the middle school students are learning communication skills and presentation skills, which are going to help them throughout their high school careers and future careers. I did get to visit several times before COVID hit, and when I visited, the kids were just so excited to be working on STEM. You can see from the pictures, it was about half boys, half girls, so there was a very nice mix of women in the STEM club. And I actually stopped to try and put together one of their circuit models. And one of the 8th grade girls stopped me and said, no, you're doing it wrong. Let me show you how you do it. So I was schooled by a 13-year-old on an electronic circuit board. I was really proud and excited that the foundation is able to be the bridge between the school district and our local businesses. The renewable energy sector is one of the fastest growing sectors in America. There's over 500 solar energy companies in Florida alone, and this industry is only expected to grow over the years. So this was a nice example of where the foundation was able to connect businesses with the school district to promote this industry as a future career. I was happy to see Diane Cruz on the panel because I know she supported one program we have at Seminole High School. A couple of years ago, Seminole High School worked with the airport to create an aviation mechanic program. The foundation actually provided funds to help start up that program about 2 years ago. As you can imagine, purchasing real plane engines and tools is very expensive. You can see in the background of the picture, they actually have a real plane and a helicopter for the students to work on. So it is very hands-on. It's not lectures in front of a whiteboard. Since the program began 2 years ago, it's doubled in size. It's over 150 students are in the program. And at the end of their high school career, they have the option to earn their FAA ground school certification or avionics electronics certificate, which prepares them to be ready to enter the career field as an aviation technician. While the program is at Seminole High School in Sanford, it's actually open to all students in Seminole County Public Schools, so we do have kids from the Winter Springs, Oviedo area, because it's offered both in school as an elective to Seminole High School students, but after school from 3:30 to 5:30 several days a week for any student in the district to be able to come after school, take the classes, and eventually get that certification. So our support for career technical education is only possible with partnerships with local businesses. So I appreciate all of you who support us. If you want to learn more, or if you want to visit any of these programs next semester when we're back open to visitors, feel free to reach out to me. And I'm very excited to hear from the students on the panel today. Thanks, Bridget.
Thank you so much. That is Jean Van Smith. She is the Executive Director of the Foundation for Seminole County Public Schools. And let me say, I actually was at the ribbon cutting for that aviation technician opening, and I was thrilled. It brought me back to my Navy days as when I worked on the flight deck, to being an aviation electronics technician. So it really is hands-on, and what a great concept to bring to the community. I absolutely love it. Now, I am thrilled to introduce our professional panel today. We have attorney Belvin Perry. How are you doing today, Belvin?
Fine, glad to be here.
Great to have you here. And we have the president and CEO of the Orlando Sanford Airport, and might I just add, recently retired. Today is her first day of retirement. So congratulations, Diane Cruz. How are you doing today, Diane?
Off mute. I'm doing great. It's a very strange feeling. But yeah, woke up this morning and I thought this is it. So I'm happy to, I think it's a good transition to have this today. And then tomorrow I can say my day is free. So I'm really happy to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diane. And we have the president and CEO of Citizens Bank of Florida, Rick Lee. How are you doing today, Rick?
Doing great, Bridget, and thank you so much for having this and hosting this event.
Thank you for attending. I know how busy all of you guys are, and I want to introduce our students. We have Michael Compton. Michael, how are you doing today?
Very well, Bridget. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. We have Alex Palmeri. Hi, Alex. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And we have Nettie Vadignani. Nettie, how are you doing today?
Doing great, thank you.
Thank you all for attending. And we're actually going to start. Michael, why don't you start with your accomplishments, what you've done, and where you see you see yourself going in the pathway to success.
Hi, my name is Michael Compton. I've grown up here in the Oviedo, Winter Springs area. Grew up in Winter Springs, but I went to the Oviedo High School, so I'd like to say I got kind of the best of both worlds here. I'm currently up at FSU majoring in political science and history right now. I'm really interested in possibly going to law school. I attended Boys State, and after that I got really interested into politics and the nature of how we administer our government administration and how we serve our citizens, both in the public and the private field. So I'm really excited to be speaking to a couple of you people. Well, all of you people, to be honest. Yeah, no, it's nice to be on Zoom for something that's not a university lecture, and I'm really excited to learn a lot today.
Thank you, Michael. And next, let's have Alex Palmeri. Alex?
Hello, my name is Alexandra Palmeri. I am a second-year student at Florida State University. I'm originally from New York, but I moved to Mexico for about 6 years, and I lived in Winter Springs for about 10. I went to Winter Springs High School. I played tennis for most of my life. I was also on the varsity team there. I was the co-captain my senior year too. I was a member of the volleyball team for 2 years because I liked working as a unit instead of just one or two people on the court. My spring semester of my senior year, I interned at the chamber, and I got out of my comfort zone, speaking publicly and also organizing things better. In high school, I also did a research project for a year through the AP Capstone program, where I expanded my knowledge and on like my interests in law. And this past summer, I was up for an internship with the New York division of the DEA upon interviewing for it, but it was canceled due to COVID. I am currently double majoring in criminology and history, which I chose because I hold a passion for both. And I hope with criminology, I will be able to have a positive impact on the criminal justice system. And with history, I chose it because I'm very interested in learning about it. And I think that if you don't know enough about it, you're bound to repeat it and make the same mistakes. I am on track for earning a certificate in emergency management and homeland security, which I decided to pursue because not only is it interesting, but I think it's also important to know how emergency responders go through and help people to keep them safe in emergency situations. And also, as of spring 2020, I am a member of the Phi Eta Sigma Honor Society, and I've made the Dean's List every semester so far. And upon my undergraduate degree completion, I plan on attending law school and potentially pursuing a career in criminal law. And I am not sure what side I would be arguing with. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. That was amazing. I love all that you've accomplished so far, and it's great to have this panel to really find out how their path to success has happened and how they can help you. So next we have Nettie Vadignani. Nettie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Nettie Verniani. I'm a senior at Oviedo High School. I am the editor-in-chief of the Ovidian Yearbook, president of the Italian Club and officer of the National Honor Society. I have run cross country and track, because it'll be my 4th year now on both. I used to live in Boston. Now I've been in the Oviedo Winter Springs area for 14 years, and I've been working an internship at the Chamber since January. So I've been very fortunate these last few months. Bridget has given me the opportunity to super headmaster projects. Currently, I'm working on the membership directory and designing the layouts and handling all the member lists. So I've also worked to put forward the Eastside Regional Hobnob. So Bridget and Jordan have allowed me to play an important role in the Chamber events, and I've been very fortunate. So I thank you all for attending today, and I appreciate Bridget and everybody who's on the panel today for allowing me this opportunity.
Thank you, Nettie. And let me go back to Michael Compton, because Michael, I'd love for you to explain what your project was while you were here at the Chamber.
Oh my gosh, I would love to talk about it. I absolutely loved working at the Chamber. I got to go travel around. I got to write little articles about local businesses. I got to visit some great gentlemen and women over at NeoWare, which was absolutely fantastic. I got to set up a bunch of signs, do a bunch of directory work as well. And it really helps me develop a passion for our community here in Oviedo. I loved it so much.
And one thing that Michael did is, not above all of the ones that he listed, is he actually helped gather material and research for us to help with our strategic plan from 2020 to 2022, and he presented it in front of our board of directors. So great job on that, Michael. There were a lot of compliments. And now, let me fully introduce our professionals today. We have attorney Belvin Perry. Born and raised in Orlando, Florida, Belvin Perry Jr. graduated from Tuskegee University with a Bachelor's of Science in History in 1972 and a Master's of Education in Student Personal Services in 1974. He went on to study law at Thurgood Marshall School of Law, where he received his Juris Doctor in 1977, and he began his legal career with the Office of the State Attorney, serving as a trial attorney in 1977. He quickly rose through the ranks with the State Attorney's Office, concluding his service with the Prosecutor's Office as Chief Assistant State Attorney in 1989. In January of that same year, he became the first African American to be elected to the circuit bench of the Ninth Circuit without being appointed. And while serving as a judge for nearly 25 years, he has served as an administrative judge in Osceola County and served 9 terms as the chief judge of the Ninth Judicial Circuit. In 2001, Judge Perry was recognized by Orlando Magazine as one of the 20 most powerful people in Orlando. He was also recognized as one of the 50 most powerful people in Orlando for multiple years, and recognized by Ebony Magazine as one of their Power 100, and also got a recognition from Orlando Sentinel columnist Scott Maxwell as one of the 25 most powerful people in Central Florida. I said powerful a lot in that. Isn't that great? And raised to value public service, his mother worked as a public school teacher and his father served in law enforcement as one of the first 2 African-American police officers to be hired by the Orlando Police Department. Attorney Belvin Perry, would you mind sharing and speaking on your pathway to success?
Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm glad to be here. My pathway to success can center around the following values. 1, God. 2, my family. 3, education. And 4, community service. When you take those ingredients and you weave them in to your life, then success is a destination that you can achieve. So simply put, that's what my life is all about. That's what my life has been about. Community service, valuing people around me, and giving back to my community.
Thank you so much, Attorney Belvin Perry. And next we have Diane Cruz, Previous, as of yesterday, President and CEO of the Orlando Sanford Airport, born and raised in Sanford, Florida, Ms. Cruz graduated from the University of Central Florida with a master's in public administration. She received her American Associate of Airport Executives AAE certification in 2013. Following 11 years of service at the city of Sanford, she accepted the Vice President of Administration position at the Orlando Sanford International Airport in 2001, and ultimately the Vice President of Finance and Administration. In this position, Ms. Cruz served as property manager, managing 110 plus airport-owned rental properties, Director of Human Services, Executive Director of Foreign Trade, Zone Number 250, and the Airport Public Information Officer, and was in charge of public relations, marketing and economic development, as well as the finance and administration departments. On August 11, 2015, the Orlando Airport Authority Board selected Ms. Cruz as President and CEO of the Orlando Sanford International Airport. In addition to her multiple responsibilities at the airport, she has served on numerous community boards and committees, including the Wayne Dench Performing Arts Center, Central Florida Zoo, Seminole County Tourism Development Council, Seminole County Regional Chamber of Commerce, and Boy Scouts of America Central Florida Council. And as I mentioned, as of yesterday, September 30th, she's officially retired, which is just congratulations on that. In her spare time, she enjoys spending time with Rob, her husband of more than 45 years, their 2 daughters, sons-in-law, and 2 grandchildren, Olivia, 8 years old, and Jake, 2 years old. Diane, thank you so much for spending your first day of retirement with us. Let's hear your pathway to success insights that you can share with our students. And we have you on mute, so let's make sure that we get you unmuted.
I've got it. Okay, so good afternoon. There we go. Thank you for inviting me to be part of this panel. I have very strong opinions about 2 things: education, and well, I have strong opinions about a lot of things, but primarily education and good government. And I feel like my career has allowed me to invest a lot of time in both of those. I was kind of a late bloomer, I should say, as far as my education. Although I graduated first in my class from Seminole High School, I delayed my college education for 17 years for various reasons, primarily financial, because my family was not going to support me in that. I got married and had children, and a lot of people make decisions like that. However, I found myself, and I'm saying this because I think it's important for especially the students to hear this, I found myself in a situation where my husband got hurt and I wasn't able to support my family. And that was untenable to me. And I couldn't believe that I allowed myself to be in a situation like that. And I vowed to never be there again. So I went back to school. And the reason I bring that up is because back then, when I was 17 and just finishing high school, even though I was smart and I had performed extremely well, I didn't have a mentor. And I look at what the chamber does, and I listen to these three young people who've talked about their experience aligning themselves with the chamber. You've provided them with mentors, and that is so important. And you know, I don't regret my path because it's made me who I am today, but it certainly would have helped a lot if I had had a mentor when I was 17 years old. I had a lot of good people in my life, but it's different when you have someone, a structure like you have in the Chambers of Commerce that provide that for young people. And I look at the program that Jean mentioned that is now at Seminole High School for young people to even start their careers at the high school level in an exciting career like aviation. That's amazing. So, and when I went back to school, I believed I was working for the city of Sanford. I believed in good government, and my pathway just underscored that all the way along the way. I had the benefit of some excellent mentors. The mayor then was Larry Dale. He was a wonderful mentor for me, as were Commissioners Brady Lassard and Commissioner Velma Williams. They really took my ideals that I had about what good governance should be, and it was embodied in them. and they were very supportive of my career path. So I think that when somebody, whether you start late or you start immediately after high school, as you know, the young people have here today, it's important that you align yourself with a mentor, and then you look for doors of opportunity, because I certainly had a lot of doors of opportunity that were placed in front of me along the way. Beginning Seminole State College. So when I went back to school, I had moved back to Sanford. Seminole State College has a testing center that allowed me to test out of different subjects, so to help me progress faster, because by that time it wasn't about enjoying the educational experience so much as it was getting it done while I was working. So I've spoken before about how much those doors of opportunity helped me, but the main thing is that when a door is placed in front of you, that you open it and that you recognize it. So just being aware of that. And I will say this too, I think about this once in a while because it made such a tremendous impact. One of my professors in college had interned at the Pentagon, and he told our class that it's really important to look like you're going somewhere. And he said, no matter what you're doing, have something in your hand, have a pad of paper and a pen, look like you have a purpose. And I know that may sound silly, but those are important words of advice. If they're important words of advice. So I'm sure we're gonna have a question and answer period, but just to keep it simple, looking for a great mentor, pursuing education throughout your life, because I'm not done yet. I would echo what the judge just said, about God. God obviously has been center in my life, my entire life. And I believe that's why I've had a successful marriage, and he guided my path when I returned to school, and especially when I embarked on this career. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you so much, Diane. What great insight. I love that. Make it seem like you're always on your next project, pen, paper, ready to go. Great advice there. And now we have Rick Lee, President and CEO of Citizens Bank of Florida. Born and raised in Winter Park and Oviedo area, Rick Lee graduated from the University of Central Florida with a bachelor's degree and named Alumni of the Year in 1999. He went on to receive a master's from Louisiana State University and was named Businessman of the Year in 1999 from the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce. He started his career at Citizens Bank of Florida in 1981 and held previous positions for the next 17 years. In 1990, he continued his career with Citizens Bank of Florida by serving on the board of directors. After holding various positions with Citizens Bank of Florida, he finally became the president and CEO in 1989 and still currently holds that position. In 1995, he became the president of the Lee Ranch and continues to serve to this day. In 2001, he became the president of Citizens Bank Corp of Oviedo and CBO Properties. Currently, he serves as the chairman on many different associations, one being the Florida Bankers Association. He serves on the board of trustees with Seminole Community College and the University of Central Florida. And he is part of the board of directors for the Florida Bankers Association, among other companies. He's honored as a Future Business Leader of America and was named Rotarian of the Year by the Oviedo Rotary Club in 2001. In his spare time, he enjoys spending time with his wife and 2 children. Rick, thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the path to success for you? Let's make sure you're unmuted also. We've got this down.
Okay, I am so sorry.
Perfect.
Sorry about that. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Bridget, for that introduction. And I definitely need to check my bio that I sent to you, because so many of those boards I am not on anymore. I've kind of rotated off some of those boards, including the trustee at UCF and Seminole State. So, but anyway, I could share so many things. Our family was part of the pioneer family one of the pioneer families that moved to Oviedo in the 1860s. So we have a long history here in Oviedo. And I started out in the bank, as you mentioned, in the early 80s as a part-time computer operator going to school at UCF and graduating actually with a computer science degree. And how I went from computer science to the CEO of the bank is kind of a crazy story. But I'll tell you that, you can't understate just the value of hard work. And from the sound of the young people here that are going to be asking these questions, they are hard workers. So you can't understate that fact. And I guess a lot of people, especially in our industry, a lot of banks talk about their customers always being first, and that is true. But from my perspective, and what I'm so proud of is building the team that we have here at the bank, because they are an amazing team. So, my responsibility is to build the team, empower the team, and take care of the team. And if that's happening, then the customers are going to be taken care of. We're like a family around here. It's not unusual to see employees talking to each other about problems, even seeing employees pray for each other. And I know that's kind of a common theme between Belvin, Diane, and myself, is our faith played a big role in who we are and our ability to do what we do and how it's impacted our decisions in the business world. So I don't know, I'm focused on building the team, empowering the team, and taking care of the team, and that's about it.
Thank you so much, Rick. And now we're going to come to the portion of the program that we're going to allow our students to ask questions to our business professionals. So why don't I start with Michael, since you are the first on my list that I introduced?
Hello, it was a pleasure to meet all of you and hear your introductions today. I'm quite excited. Mrs. Cruz, I had a question. I saw on your bio, I know I Googled you guys before in order to write some good questions that I had, that you got your master's in public administration. That's currently one of the programs I'm interested in. And I was wondering, what kind of doors did that open up for you within the public sector?
And we still have you on mute, so let's get you unmuted. Perfect.
Okay, here we go. So my job at the airport, a lot of people don't understand that airports are public entities. So I worked for a government agency. The Sanford Airport Authority is a government agency. And because it operates more like an enterprise fund, I got to work the best of both worlds: government, which I'm passionate about, and a lot of facets of the public from a private enterprise. So that has been the cornerstone of everything I've done at the airport. And I'll tell people, my job is one of service. For 19 years, my job at the airport was one of service, just like it should be for any government agency. So running an airport is very much like running a city. And I was listening to what each of you have been involved in and what you're planning to do. And I other than criminal law, although that probably touches us occasionally, everything you're doing has a nexus to the airport world. And public administration is a great fit for an aviation director for so much of what we did.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Diane. And now we're going to go to our next question, and that will be from Alex. Alex, what question do you have?
I have a question for Mr. Lee. How was growing up in the community you served impacted the course of your career?
Well, very good question. And since I mentioned growing up in Oviedo and our family being here so long term, and seeing all the changes, I think staying in the community that you grew up with is a good thing. And I know a lot of young people want to move away from the community that they have grown up in. And there's a support system here and family here that I just wouldn't have had anywhere else. And it's not a sign of anything other than just wanting to support the community that supported you for so many years. And this bank was for 30 years the only bank in the whole city of Oviedo. So we're a 75-year-old financial institution. So that the longevity of who we are, the longevity of some of the owners in this bank, which we're a community-owned bank. Nobody owns a majority share. So, you know, we're just so community focused. And I think being raised in this community has a lot to do with wanting to return, you know, to the community what the community deserves. And that's our best to help this community grow. Great question.
Thank you, Rick. And Rick probably won't say this, but he does a lot of, he does events for the community, he supports the community, and it's just incredible some of the things that he does that he probably won't talk about, but I do want to mention he just does an amazing job.
Thank you, Bridget.
And next we have Nettie Vergnani. And Nettie, what's your question?
Okay, so my first question is for Judge Perry. What would you say is the most rewarding aspect of your career to someone considering pursuing legal studies?
The most rewarding aspect of my career in the legal profession as a judge is being able to make a difference and to impact the lives of the individuals that you come in contact with. You know, one of the hallmarks of a democracy is the rule of law. It defines us as a people, and it also defines us as a nation. And when you can see how your decisions impact others in their daily lives, and when you see how you can use the position as a judge to make life better. We've been able to do things in the Ninth Circuit like a central receiving facility. Instead of arresting people for minor crimes who suffer from mental health or substance abuse, they're able to go there and get the necessary services. So the key thing is making a difference and making your community better.
Thank you so much, Belvin Perry. And now we will move to, I'm going to open this up. Who has the next question? Michael, Nettie, Alex?
I have one for Mr. Lee, if he doesn't mind.
Not at all.
Mr. Lee, I read on your website that you care a lot about communal banking. I was wondering, what does that mean to you, and how has the current pandemic affected that?
Okay, I want to make sure I understood the question, Michael. The question was community banking?
Communal banking, yes, sir.
Okay.
What does that mean to you?
Yeah. Community banking, gosh, that's a great question. The big difference between a classification of a community bank and maybe your larger brothers, which we're all in the same boat together, there is no disparaging anybody, but we tend to be so much closer to our customer base. The decisions here are made here in our boardroom for our citizens in Oviedo. And if you go to some of our other brothers, and this isn't bad, I'm not disparaging them because there may be some on the phone, because we all have our role, but decisions are local. And so we're very close to our customer base, we're very close to our community, and there are a lot of very good bankers in our community that are from big banks. I'm not suggesting that's not true, but you know, but they would acknowledge that one thing that we have is our community ownership, our community concern, and very close to our community customers. Great question.
Thank you. And now we will open it up. Who has the next question?
Okay, so my next question is for Mrs. Cruz. What advice would you give for me as I would like to pursue a career in management?
Okay, so what type of management would be my first question?
Business management.
Business management in general. Exactly what I said earlier. I would make sure you find a mentor. I think you're already, you've already seen that for yourself, being involved in the business world through the chamber. But I would continue to pursue as much education as possible. While you're in college, you'll be having you'll see a number of doors of opportunity presented to you, and make sure you take advantage of those. It's always going to be about learning throughout your life, but as you embark on your career initially, you'll find that the the people that you aligned yourself with during your education, those years of education, will absolutely be resources for you to guide you as you move forward into an actual career.
Thank you, Diane. And I appreciate that advice. I know that it's been very fruitful to use the ePathways program. We have received incredible talent from it, but also the great connections. And I let all of them know that they need to set up a LinkedIn profile, and everyone they meet, they need to grab a business card and connect with them, because you don't know in the future what will come of those relationships. So great suggestion. And our next question?
I have a question for Judge Perry. Okay, so is there any instances in your career that made you question if you made the right decision? And what advice can you give to those starting on your path, as I want to seek criminal law?
There's nothing that I've encountered in the more than 40 years that I've been involved in the legal that it made me change my mind. Advice for you is to be an open thinker, to read as much as possible, to hone your analytical skills, and to be inquisitive. And don't be afraid to go off the beaten path to develop new ideas and blaze new trails. While the law deals with precedent and things of that nature, sometimes it takes a forward-thinking change agent to make a change in the law and to make a change in our community. So don't be afraid to try new things, to embrace new paths, and as I mentioned earlier, to learn from other people that are different from you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Belvin. And we will move on to our next question. Do we have one?
I have another. I didn't know if Mr. Perry would like to go 2 times in a row, but if that's all right with you, sir.
That's fine.
I saw that after serving 25 years as a judge, you decided to join the private sector with Morgan & Morgan. I wanted to know why you made that decision.
When I graduated from law school, my dream at that time was to practice personal injury law. And because of a thing called a family and need more, I ended up having to practice criminal law, which I detested, did not like. Matter of fact, my interest when I graduated from law school was taxes, contracts, and tort law. So it's not often that when you conclude a career, you have an opportunity to do something that you wanted to do. And I've been blessed to do that. That's the reason why.
Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Sorry, I was muted. I was like, that's a great answer, and congratulations, because you did end up eventually doing what you wanted to do initially. And it's very true that when you graduate, you may not have that open door, as Diane says, to that opportunity yet. It's building your way up there and making those connections and using your resources. And you know, education is amazing. That's priority. So do we have a next question?
Yes, so my next question is for Mr. Lee. What did you not understand about the profession until you started your career? So what did you learn in your path?
Good question. So when I graduated with a computer science degree, I wasn't sure I wanted to be a banker because, I was young, just graduated from UCF, but chose that path because the bank offered me a path. And I think mentoring that Diane keeps talking about is so important because I have so many mentors in my life that help me out. So if you guys can connect, anybody can connect, with mentors, they are valuable. But anyway, the one thing that I did not understand about a career in banking is the regulatory burden that banks are under. And I know that is maybe a foreign concept to you guys, but it was surprising about how regulated this industry is, and how a lot of times it ties your hands from doing what you really think is okay and good to do. It's good. I mean, regulation is not bad, but the amount of regulation we were under was a surprise, especially as I was moving up in the ranks, in the executive ranks, learning more and more about the things we can and cannot do, and the things we get scolded for by the FDIC or regulatory bodies. They have their role, and they're our partners. I always consider them partners, but that was a big surprise to me.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I know, just bounding off of that, Rick, we do have the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce does have our Capital Connection trip that we do every year. And we have our connections with our city, counties, state representatives to make sure that we are supporting our business community. So thank you. And our next question.
I have a question for Ms. Cruz. First of all, congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
You also mentioned a lot about mentors, and I was wondering if there was any advice you have on where to seek a mentor and how to know that the match is going to help you.
So I think that's a good question. In my case, I looked at what I wanted to do, and I wanted to pursue a career in government. So I looked at people who embodied the ideals that I had, and I have to tell you, I was very idealistic. I looked at the world through rose-colored glasses, and I wanted everything to fit into that, and it doesn't. So I think finding somebody who aligns with your desires, your goals, somebody who shares a lot of the same ideology, but yet being open to new ideas as well. So I think that what the judge just talked about, being open is important, and being open to just new ideas, period. And that when you're looking for a mentor, obviously you do need to have somebody who has some commonality with you, but don't be so restrictive in that. I would have just been looking for perfect people, and that doesn't exist. So I think keeping your mindset open to new ideas while you're looking for a mentor, but still looking for some commonality that you can align with. And that's really that has guided me throughout the process. I've been very fortunate.
Thank you, Diane. And, throughout high school, college, I know you probably look up to some of your professors right now, making those connections on LinkedIn to see who's similar or in that job path that you're interested in. Always a great way to find a mentor. We have a next question. Go ahead.
I'm all done here. I learned quite a lot today, and I'm really excited.
Well, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Since we don't have any more questions, does anybody have a question that they want to type in the chat box that they may want to ask any of our panelists? If you do, please make sure you do that now. And I just want to say this has really been amazing. ePathways program, we will continue to utilize that program to make sure that we not only help students, but they are able to get business skills that are needed in, as you would say, the real world, but they are in the real world. But it really is that progress to really get to utilize skills that maybe was not touched on in school. And since I don't have any questions coming from the chat box, I want to thank every single one of you for joining us today. The business professionals, I know how busy you are. I thank you so much. Diane, congratulations on your retirement. Tomorrow, you have nothing to do. So that's a great way to think about it. And please stay in touch with the Chamber of Commerce. And to all of our students, thank you for interning at our chamber. And as you know, I always say, stay connected with me, because if there's anything you need help with, I'm here for you. And congratulations on where you've come so far. And I know that each one of you has so much talent. So you guys will all do amazing. And I do have, Greg Smith has his hand raised. So because this is a webinar, I'm not able to hear Greg Smith. So Greg, if you wanted to type anything in the chat box, that would be the best way to do it. Greg Smith is also with Citizens Bank of Florida. So I'm not sure if that's a question for you, Rick, or.
I don't know, but it's scaring me, that's for sure. He's our CFO. He does a great job for us.
Is he just need to like knock on the floor and say, hey, I'm on the second level?
Yeah, he just come right to my office door.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. I am Bridget Lake, president of the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce. You guys all have a wonderful day, and we will see you next month. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.